Hi, I'm Kai. Have you ever wondered what day is the Sabbath? Is it Saturday or is it Sunday? Well, in Matthew 5:17, Jesus says, "Think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I come not to destroy, but to fulfill." So in this verse, we find that Jesus, when he came down to earth, he didn't come down to destroy or to tell us to do something else other than God's law. He came down to show us how to live a godly life and to follow God's commandments. Genesis 2:3, it says, "And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work, which God created and made." So in this verse, we find a few different things. Number one, that God blessed the seventh day. He didn't bless the first day, which is Sunday. He blessed the seventh day, which is Sabbath. He also not only blessed it, but he sanctified it. And to be made sanctified, or to be sanctified, it means to be set apart and to be made holy. But what makes something holy? In Exodus 3, we find of a story of when Moses was in the desert and he saw this bush that was on fire, but it wasn't burning. So as he approached it, he heard God call down to him, and God said to take off his shoes, for the place which he standeth on is holy ground. And was it the sand that was made holy, or was it like the bush that was holy? No, it was actually God's presence that made the place holy. So after God was done talking to Moses, the place was no longer holy. The bush wasn't holy, it was never holy to begin with. The sand wasn't holy, and the desert is no longer holy because God does not dwell there anymore. So in Patriarchs and Prophets, page 48, it says, "God saw that the Sabbath was essential for man, even in paradise. He needed to lay aside his own interests and pursuits for one day out of the seven, that he might fully contemplate the works of God and meditate upon his power and goodness. He needed a Sabbath to remind him more vividly of God and to awaken his gratitude because all that he enjoyed and possessed came from the benefits of the hand of the Creator." So we need the Sabbath to remind us of all that God has done for us, everything that he's created, all the blessings from God, and things like that. So that's why we need the Sabbath. If we flip to Exodus 8 through 11, we see where God put the Sabbath in the 10 Commandments. So starting in verse 8, going down to 11, it says, "Remember the seventh day, to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor the cattle, nor thy stranger that is within the gates. For 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the seventh day and hallowed it." If we go back to verse 8, the fourth commandment, it's the only one that starts out as remember. It says, "Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy." All the other ones actually start out as thou, I am, or honor. But this one says, remember the seventh day, or the Sabbath day. And do not forget it, because I know that you guys are very forgetful and that you will forget the day that I blessed and sanctified. So down in verse 11, we see God's seal. And a seal contains a name, a title, and a territory. So God's seal is the Lord, his name. He is a creator, and because he created heaven and earth, and his territory is then heaven and earth. So God's seal is Lord, creator, and heaven and earth. So what does a seal mean or something? A seal is like a sign. You sign over it and you pledge it. It's sealed. It's done. It's over with. It's kind of like a law. Like somebody makes a law, then the president will sign it and it's sealed. So in Exodus 31, 13 to 14, it says, "Speak thou unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily my Sabbath ye shall keep it. For it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am the Lord that doeth sanctify you. Ye shall keep the Sabbath therefore, for it is holy unto you. Every one that defileth it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth my work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people." So what that's saying is, the Sabbath was made as a sign. It's for us to connect with God and kind of rest and reflect on him and everything that he's done for us. And it's also for not just our generation, but it's for the generations to come. So the Sabbath wasn't to be changed when Jesus died and rose again. The Sabbath was to remain the seventh day, and for us to keep keeping it holy. And in verse 14, it tells us that if we defile the Sabbath, if we don't keep it holy, if we start to keep Sunday or Monday or Tuesday holy, then we will not make it to the kingdom of heaven, because in order to make it to the kingdom of heaven, we have to obey all 10 of his commandments, not just 9 of them, but 10. In verse 16, it says, "Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, and to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations. For it is a perpetual covenant, so it is an everlasting covenant between God and us." So to summarize this whole video up, we found that the seventh day is the Sabbath. It's not the first day, but it's the seventh day. Saturday is the Sabbath. Number 2, that the Sabbath is a sign. It's a covenant between God and us. Number 3, that it's God's presence that makes something holy. So we can be in a church building on either day of the week, praising his name and saying that it's Sabbath, but if we're not keeping his 10 commandments, then he's not abiding with us, and his Holy Spirit is not there worshiping with us. In Psalms 111, 7-8, it says, "The works of his hands are verity and judgment. All his commandments are sure. They stand fast forever and ever, and they are done in truth and uprightness." So God's commandments weren't just thought up, or weren't just made up last minute. They were thought out and planned. So they are lasting forever. So the Sabbath is standing forever and ever, friends. So thank you so much for joining me on Here I Am Sunday. Bye.